Hello, Ms. Martinez. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Well, thank you for coming. The reason we are meeting today is to go over the results of the ABAS 3 evaluation that you completed back on May 24th for your daughter Maria. At that time, Maria was 8 years and 4 months, and she was attending first grade. The ABAS 3 is a comprehensive assessment. Here's a copy of it.
Thank you.
That measures adaptive behaviors, and the adaptive behavior is made up of the skills that people use to function in daily life, including taking care of themselves and interacting with other people. The form you completed was the parent form for ages 5 to 21. Is this one over here, if you remember? So let's go ahead and go over the evaluation results. ABAS 3 results provide what we call the General Adaptive Composite GAC score, which summarizes performance across all adaptive skills areas excluding work, because since she doesn't work, we didn't include that one. But if you go to page 2, let's go ahead and take a look at that page. There's a table titled Score Summary. And if you look down here, the General Adaptive Composite GAC score for Maria is 83, and which is in the below average range.
Okay.
The percentile rank for this overall score is 13, which means that her overall score is as high as or higher than approximately 13 out of 100 individuals of the same age. Okay. Did you have any questions so far?
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused because it says here 83, and up to my knowledge, 83 actually is pretty good, especially if you're saying it's out of 100.
Well, that is a very good question. Well, these scores are not the regular scores that students will get in the classroom. This is not really based out of 100 points. Let's take a look at page 5. Let's go to page 5. Page 5 will probably will show you better how that works. Over here, you're going to see the standard score ranges, and it goes from from high to extremely low. And if you look over here, high score is from 120 and above. Or more. 110 to 119 is above average. 90 to 109 is average. 80 to 89 below average. And 71 to 79 low, which is considered borderline. 70 or less is extremely low. And since Maria GAC score is 83, if you notice, her 83 is over here, so that puts her in the below average. The 100 here represents where most of the students fall. That's 50% of the individuals will fall within that range. Okay. There are 3 domains. Let's go back to page 2 again. There are 3 domains that are designed to describe the students' functional abilities in any given area. If you notice, we have the conceptual, the social, and the practical domains. Excuse me. The conceptual domain summarizes performance across 3 skill areas. We have communication, functional academics, and self-direction. For communication, it's just that. It examines language skills needed to communicate with others. That includes vocabulary and the ability to respond to questions. For functional academics, it examines basic pre-academic skills needed in an academic environment. That includes basic reading skills, writing, math, telling time, things like that. For self-direction, that includes things such as being independent, having self-control, starting and completing tasks, keeping up with schedules, following directions. Maria's conceptual domain standard score was 80, which is in the below average range. That means that she's as high as or higher than 9% of individuals of the same age. The next domain is social domain. That one summarizes performance across the leisure and social skill areas. For the social skill, it includes skills needed to interact socially, and to get along with other people. Things such as having friends, showing emotions, and using manners. The leisure scale includes skills needed to plan activities, including playing with other kids and following rules when she plays games with them. Maria obtained a social domain standard score of 83, which is in the below average range, and that means as high as or higher than 13% of the same age. Individuals of the same age. The next one is the practical domain. That one summarizes performance across four areas actually: the community use, home living, health and safety, and self-care. The community use includes the ability to use the community resources and shopping skills. Home living skills incorporate basic care of the house, cleaning, food preparation, performing chores. Health and safety are those skills needed for protection of health and to respond to illness and injury. This will include the use of medications and showing appropriate caution.
Okay.
The self-care skills are those needed for personal grooming, dressing, and hygiene. Maria obtained a practical domain standard score of 88. That's also below average range, as high or higher than 21% of individuals of the same age. Another area that I would like to discuss is Maria's strengths and weaknesses. If you go to page 5, I believe. Yes, right here. It is very important to look at the strengths and weaknesses for the purpose of assessment. It is also good for intervention planning and progress monitoring. In order to determine the areas of personal strengths and weaknesses within Maria's profile, each skill area scale score was compared to her average range of her scale score across all skill areas. And if we go back to page 5 and you look over here, this is what's representing her scale scores. So on page 2, that table that I pointed out before gives it to you directly with the scale score numbers right there. Scores that are greater than the average by a statistically significant amount indicate strengths, and scores that are less than the average by statistically significant amount indicate weaknesses. Let's go back to page 5 one more time. If you look over here, this is where she fell for each individual category. So most of them are concentrated in the below average section. Notice how one of them is actually out of that. It's this one, community use. She scored a 10, and her average scale score was 7.3. So that's considered a strength for her. Now, when we were trying to find a weakness, there's nothing really in this area. Everything's pretty much stayed within the below average. So we really couldn't find a weakness for her within that area of her. Do you have any questions so far about this?
No.
Okay. Well, in closing, based on your ratings, Maria obtained a score of 83 on the GAC score. She's currently functioning at the 13th percentile, and her overall analysis adaptive behavior can be described as being in the below average range of functioning. Maria scores individual skill areas indicate that she did not demonstrate any weakness in any area, and her community use was a strength for Maria. Did you have any other questions?
Well, I've been thinking it. I'm wondering what suggestions do you have to help Maria do better?
Well, that's a very good question as well. What I would say is to encourage Maria to participate in conversations.
Okay.
Read to her regularly. It's very important that you do that nightly if possible. During and after the story, go ahead and ask her questions. Guide her through the answers of the questions. Praise her for answering questions. Have her practice stating her home address, learning her full name and information like that, birth date. Teach her how to care for her toys, for things around the house, other belongings. She could even use puppets or toys, and teach her how to ask other kids to play and get involved with her. You can even bring some kids in the house so that she can learn how to socialize with other. Did you have any other question that I can help you with?
I think that's it.
Well, I really thank you for coming and for the time that you spent here with us. And if you ever have any question or anything that you need help with, you can come here to school or you can call us, and I will be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for your time.